Hey, I'm Nat. Let's see what's making news. Australia's consumer watchdog is about to get a lot more powerful, with big changes coming to laws on company mergers. But what does any of that mean? Josh found out.
They're the biggest reforms to merger and acquisition settings in 50 years.
Ugh, this story is a bunch of mumbo-jumbo. Let's make it a bit more simple, shall we?
Sometimes two businesses who do the same or similar things might decide to become one business.
I would like to buy your business.
Nah, not interested, thanks.
Here's a lot of money.
Okay, great, that sounds good.
And this lovely little thing is called a merger.
But by gobbling up their competitors and giving consumers nowhere else to go, businesses can get a little bit greedy and start cranking up their prices.
Some mergers can cause serious economic harm. It can reduce productivity in our economy and it can punish consumers with reduced choice.
Last year, there were more than 1,400 mergers recorded, and about half of those were the top 1% of businesses buying up the smaller guys.
Lots of people think that's not fair, including the ACCC.
The ACCC, or the Australian Competition and Consumer Commission, is in charge of making sure things stay fair for customers and businesses too. Until now, they haven't had a lot of power to stop dangerous mergers. But under some proposed law changes, which would kick into gear in 2026, companies planning to merge with deals above a certain price point will have to give the ACCC a heads up. They'll also need to convince them that the merger won't cause harm, and wait for the green light before they can move ahead.
And while some companies aren't fans, the ACCC is confident it'll be good for Aussie businesses and those who buy from them.
The Northern Territory government has extended the youth curfew in Alice Springs. It'll mean until Tuesday next week, kids under 18 have to stay out of the Alice Springs CBD between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m, unless they have a good reason to be there.
The overarching was that we need to keep the curfew in place, particularly over the school holidays.
The curfew was brought in after a rise in youth crime in Alice Springs and some violent incidents last month. And while some people say it has made things safer, most agree it's not a long-term solution. Now we're about to meet some young dancers from Arnhem Land who have been asked to perform at Disneyland. Here's Ren to explain.
Yep. Right at the tippy top of Australia, this talented bunch are preparing to make the trek from Nhulunbuy, a remote town in Arnhem Land, all the way to Disneyland.
Actually getting to go over there and perform at Disneyland, I never thought that I would ever go to America, let alone perform at Disneyland in front of thousands of people.
Arms up! They've been asked to perform at Disneyland and Universal Studios, and then aboard a cruise to Mexico. A lot of these guys have never been overseas, so this trip is a pretty big deal. All up, the trip is set to cost around $200,000 for the dance school, which is stopping some families from going.
Often we only go to 1 or 2 competitions a year because otherwise, the cost just gets a bit too much.
So, these guys have been washing cars, hosting sausage sizzles and bake sales in an effort to raise enough money so that everyone can go.
A lot of hard work, but that's the thing with dance, you gotta put in the hard work to get rewarded.
Oh, now it's time to celebrate young and old with some stories from around the world. First up to Peru, where the oldest person in the world has just turned 124. But there is a caveat here. Nobody's 100% sure when Juanuco here was born. Up until a few years ago, he was living off the radar in the Andean mountains. Now they're trying to get his age verified because if he is 124, that'd make him officially the oldest person in the world. Now to an aquarium in the US, where Myrtle, the very old turtle, is going in for her yearly checkup.
Everything looks normal.
Myrtle has been living at the zoo for the last 50 years and is thought to be as old as 95. And finally to Brazil, where 10-year-old budding artist Sophia is getting the opportunity of a lifetime. Her work has been chosen to be featured at an art gallery in Paris, right next to the world's biggest museum, the Louvre. That's all from us today. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Wait. Why isn't it working?